G'day, May 40 here. You've heard of the expression, give peace a chance? Well, the opposite of that expression, give war a chance, is just as likely to be true. Right? Just as many conflicts get solved by war as compared to negotiation. So liberals, people on the left, people of the Enlightenment, our intellectual elite, they place much greater trust in dialogue to solve problems than do traditionalists, tribalists, nationalists, and conservatives, and people on the right. Right, so from a non-leftist perspective, reason is a weak reed. Reason is usually something we invoke to do what we instinctively want to do, and then we use reason to try to justify it. And we recognize that discussion and the use of reason is not going to solve most of life's problems. But the dominant intellectual elite Enlightenment approach is that we need more negotiation, that negotiation is the way to go to solve problems between Israel and its enemies. But from a non-liberal perspective, right now, there appears to be a stronger case of give war a chance. Right? Allow Israel to devastate its enemies, to decapitate Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, and to remake the Middle East through war. And sometimes war solves a lot of problems that diplomacy and the use of reason and discussion cannot solve. So the Bibi Netanyahu approach right now is give war a chance. And that's not a crazy idea. Right? Who would have predicted that Israel would have had the number of stunning successes that it's had over the past 3 months? Israel has taken out almost all of the top Hamas and Hezbollah leadership. And now it's very likely to do the same thing to the thuggish Iranian regime, which is hated by 80% of the Iranian population. So there are a tiny number of problems that can be solved through diplomacy, negotiation, the sharing of feelings. But most problems cannot be solved that way. Right? Most problems get solved by facts on the ground. Once you have an accurate understanding of your own capabilities and weaknesses, and of your adversary's capabilities and weaknesses, right, then there's often a rational empirical basis for settlement. So in a legal case, once you get the filing of a lawsuit, there will be a process called discovery where each side gets to request documents of the other side and to take depositions of the key players in a lawsuit. And usually after about 2 years of this process, right, each side has a fairly realistic understanding of their own side's strengths and weaknesses. And most cases do not go to trial. Right? Most cases are settled after most facts are no longer in dispute. They're simply resolved through depositions and documentation. And a lot of wars end right after a sufficient amount of combat establishes facts on the ground. Right? What are the strengths and weaknesses of each side? Right? That will usually become revealed fairly quickly. And often war and conflict, struggle and battle will reveal the truth of a situation much more quickly than all the rhetoric and all the efforts of diplomacy will reveal. Right? War is often the great clarifier. War solves a lot of problems. War will frequently bring a more profound and lasting end to conflict than negotiation. So there's a time and a place for anger and aggression, both for individuals and for nation states. And sure, there are times when you want to give peace a chance. But there are probably even more times when you want to give war a chance. Right? When the United States and its allies had Germany on the run in World War I and World War II, right? The United States and its allies weren't eager to go make a deal. Hey, we've got India in the chat. G'day, mates. So welcome to Westwood, California, 5 miles east of the Pacific Ocean, right next to the University of California at Los Angeles. So we have had endless amounts of diplomacy in the Middle East with some limited successes, such as we've had a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Egypt, Israel and Jordan. Since the Yom Kippur 1973 war, we've had increasingly closer ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel over the past 2 decades. But much of this has been established through conflict, through battle and struggle. It's become clear what Israel's capabilities are vis-a-vis its enemies, and this has incentivized negotiation and realignment of alliances. So it will not be Israel's observance of international humanitarian law that will dictate its alliance structure going forward. Rather, nations will act in their own self-interest. And if Israel devastates its enemies in the Middle East, decapitates Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Iranian regime, then many other nations will want to ally with Israel to take advantage of Israel's technology and superior methods of waging war. So Bob Woodward, in his new book, War, which is a great read, he puts forward the Biden administration's foreign policy team as a group that will be studied for generations to come as exemplars of rational, thoughtful diplomacy. I think it's more likely that Israel's war strategy against Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran will be studied for generations to come. This will more likely provide value to other nations dealing with challenges, because even though the intellectual elite and the dominant conversation in the news media and among NGOs is that you can't kill your way out of a terror problem, sometimes you can. Sri Lanka killed its way out of a terror problem. The United States crushed ISIS under Donald Trump through a killing solution. The United States ended the regimes of Germany in World War I and II and the militarist Japanese regime in World War II through killing. And we've had an unprecedented amount of peace, prosperity in Europe since World War II, thanks to the amount of effective killing that the Allies did in World War II. So there are many problems that an effective and sufficient amount of killing will simply resolve in a far more effective way than diplomacy. So every time you hear, give peace a chance, think about all the occasions when peoples and nations would have been better served giving war a chance. Show me a Lamborghini. So I grew up in Australia, about 90 minutes north of Sydney, near Newcastle. Moved to the Napa Valley in 1977 when I was 11. Then at age 14, I moved to Auburn, California, which is 45 minutes drive north of Sacramento on Interstate 80. Went to Placer High School for my final 3 years of high school, 1982 to 84. Here's something that you see in Westwood commonly, but you would not see in East LA or more dangerous parts of LA. And these are autonomous vehicles delivering food. Right? You see them all over Westwood. And they do a great job. We've also got Waymos, driverless cars. I've never seen a problem with these vehicles. They're just very effective. They do a beautiful job, but they require a high level of social trust and social cohesion that they don't get molested. Anyway, I went to Sierra Community College in Rockland, California, where the San Francisco 49ers trained during the summers for many years. And when I talked to my friends from Placer High School and Sierra College who transferred to UCLA, they talk about how in the evenings they'd go out to Westwood Village and just look with admiration at all the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and high-end cars that would drive through. So until 1987, Westwood was a center of nightlife in Los Angeles. And Southern California and Northern California are like two different countries, right? In Northern California, there's much more of an emphasis on downplaying your wealth, while in Southern California, there's much more freedom and social acceptance of flaunting your wealth. And so you'll see a lot more people loving their luxury cars and enjoying their luxury cars. So wasn't I just doing a stream 10 minutes ago? Yes, I was. Then I remembered a point that I forgot to make, and that is give war a chance. Bibi Netanyahu has been such a cautious politician, but now he is going all out to crush Israel's enemies. He sees this unique opportunity to do that. And particularly if Trump is elected, he'll get all the weapons that he needs to finish the job. Israel has seemingly an opportunity to remake the Middle East, but only if it gives war a chance. And the conventional elite attitude is give peace a chance, right? Turn to diplomacy now. But Bibi's got the attitude give war a chance, and there's a time where that is a superior attitude to give peace a chance. The United States did not negotiate an end to World War I and World War II, right? They killed their way to the final solution to those conflicts, right? There's a time and a place for war, and there's a time and a place for peace, right? Sometimes you're best served by surrendering. Other times you're better served fighting to the death to serve as an inspiration. And other times you want to negotiate and reach a solution on terms favorable to the other party, right? Depending on your relative level of strength and depending on the situation, right? There's no one moral principle that outweighs all others. Right? Usually survival should be your top priority, but occasionally there will be higher values than your own survival.